This is the Total Freedom Podcast, presenting #1 best-selling author Christopher Duncan, bringing you proven strategies to free your time, free your mind, and free your income, so that you can do more of what matters most. Learn more at ChristopherMDuncan.com.
Welcome to the Total Freedom Podcast. Today, it's my honor to be with Satya and Raja, and we are here to talk about total freedom, just like we do every single time. Now, let me tell you a little bit about this amazing man, who I'm just getting to know. So we're going to go on exploration and learn more about him on this episode. But he's the founder of the Warrior Sage Group of companies, and he's proved himself in creating and running multiple successful conscious companies. And that's one of the big things I love, is the conscious company. So I'm excited to talk about that. He's a well-guarded secret advisor, mentor, and confidant to high-powered leaders, circles the globe, offering experiential trainings from martial arts to the art of generating money and creating passionate love. So Satya, I'm so grateful to have you here. Thank you for spending some time with us and the Total Freedom audience. And I don't know where this is going to go, so I'm excited for the spontaneity of it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me, Chris. And the topic of total freedom is very close to my heart. One of my events is about total freedom, and it's close to my heart because freedom is a value. It's one of my highest values. So since it's so congruent with what you're up to, this is going to be really awesome.
I love it. And let's start right on that then. I have my own definition of freedom, but what's yours? When we hear the word freedom, what does it mean to you?
Well, really simple. One of my mentors, Kevin Nations, he shared this model with me of F's, freedom standing for F's. And so for me, the freedoms are having freedom in my faith, my capacity to believe in myself, the forces of the universe, the divine. So faith. Family, having freedom to have time with my family, my wife, my beloved children, to enjoy my time and experience with them. So faith, family, finance. To me, money, there's only one purpose of money, and that's to purchase life experiences. That's it. So to be able to generate freedom with my wealth, to be able to create the life experiences I want. Mm-hmm. And then fitness. So fitness to me means having my body, my spirit, my being vital, alive, so I can fulfill my mission, have a great time, have awesome adventures, great sex, and great energy to it to really live this juicy life that we have. So really, it's for me to be able to do what I want, when I want, how I wish, coming from my soul and my mind unity, not just from my ego or my shallow self, but from the totality of my being.
What a great explanation, and I love it. And it's so aligned, brother, that I don't even need to share my definition. It's so aligned, so that's perfect. So let's get started by hearing, your story and how you moved yourself into this place of where you are today, what you're excited about. Would love the real introduction to the man.
Well, I come from an East Indian family, hardworking business family. My father's side was all very entrepreneurial for many generations back, East Indian family. My mother's side are all social reformers, Gandhians, doctors, so very conflicting in some ways, from traditional viewpoints of business versus spirituality, or social care versus, growing business. So I had these conflicting energies growing up as a child.
Right.
In my heart, I wanted to just serve everyone. And then from another side of me as well, I have to take care of myself, my business, and grow that. So my journey has been really taking that conflict, the antagonism between those, and learning to unify them.
Right.
And it started with my induction into martial arts when I was a boy. I got deeply involved. I saw this TV show called Kung Fu with David Carradine. And then I saw Bruce Lee, and something in me went, I want to become that. I didn't have the words for it as a boy, but I just knew that's what I wanted.
Wow.
So I was very fortunate to find a martial arts master who not only taught the physical aspect, but mentored me in the psychological and spiritual dimensions of being. Wow. And so I immersed myself into this Shaolin Kung Fu monastic way of life, and and the whole philosophy was I had to better myself to be a better servant for other people. Mm-hmm. So I grew through that And I dove into that deeply in my life. And through that journey, that took me to the footsteps of other great philosophers, mentors, spiritual leaders. And then I decided, I read Think and Grow Rich and these type of books. And I said, look, if Napoleon Hill can go find the great masters on the planet, why can't I?
Wow.
So 35 years ago, that's what I started. I started going literally to every corner of the world, to Asia, Africa, the South Americas, North Americas, and I sought out the mentors who represented to me the highest expressions of not only success, but inner freedom, total freedom, inner awakening.
Right.
And so I consider myself, yes, people consider me a teacher, but first of all, I consider myself a professional student.
Yeah.
That's been my journey. And I created an organization called Warrior Sage in 99.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife and I, Suzanne, who co-leads events with me, we've been distilling all that we've learned in our practical life, our 29 years of marriage and having two, powerful grown teens, and our own, beauty in our own relationship. And we've just been sharing that with tens of thousands of people through the years. And our current focus is we work with leaders who really have a feeling that there's a next level of destiny that they're drawn to live into, and we serve them to live into that greater destiny.
Right, and that's huge because, and I just want to appreciate you as a human being, and I think it's what you're bringing in. I can feel it already, and I'm sure the listeners across time and space can also feel just the congruency that you come from. It's really, really quite something. So honored to have you here. And I think that's such a great space, is moving those leaders to the next level. I don't know, we seem to be in this 2016 seems to be an amazing year. Yes. And the leaders that are getting called forth and the things that are dying not dying, the things that seem to be falling away are just it's so amazing to me. So I'd love to hear what you think the new leader looks like, the new person who's going to be leading.
Certainly. Well, first of all, I feel business leaders are the most influential people on the planet right now in this era.
I agree.
We are more powerful than religious figures of the past.
I agree.
We're far more powerful than political figures. In fact, we own them as business leaders. This may not be a nice thing to hear, but the reality is that we carry a tremendous amount of influence. And
yes.
in the work that I do, we share about 3 stages of consciousness as a simple model. The first stage is ego and very focused on self and gain.
Yes.
The second stage is on sharing and equality, equanimity, balance, harmony. And I feel that there's this growth going from this ego-based gain, just me-based, into this we-based.
Right.
But I feel that there's what I'm interested in, where my heart calling and mission is those who are already understanding this viewpoint and can relate and have been active in this viewpoint of having a higher level of affinity with other beings, not just being egoically self-centered. They're ready for another level. And I feel that's the level of transcendence, destiny, for the sake of all beings.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that may sound lofty, and you know what? It is. But we need this, I feel, level of loftiness, this level of depth.
Yeah.
Now, more than ever. So I feel the next level of leadership is that. The awakened leader is what I call it, or the transcendent leader. One who recognizes that they must take care of self, society, and that they're plugged into a divine mission, a divine awakening. And that's where we're at. I feel that's where we need to go.
I love it. And a lot of the listeners are called to leadership. I mean, that's the leading of a ship, the leading of others. And I really see this movement into meaning, into true meaningness. And there's a lot going on out there. Obviously, we've got the elections in the US happening, and the whole world are focused on that craziness. And there's a lot of craziness happening. And I think, and I'm in a movie coming out later this year with the Dalai Lama and Tony Robbins called Rise Up. And it really seems that we're in this this precipice of we're either all going to shift and rise up. Well, actually, that's the only option because the other option is not good. But we're right there, aren't we? And but everyone's a leader, not just the business leaders. I think it's, we're all called to that leadership. So I would love to dig out some gold nuggets on leadership from you. So maybe just a broad scope of leadership from the business owner to the parent to the person that's inside a company, leading from the bottom up, which we all know they can. What are some of what would be the things that pop into your head the most when I ask you what's important for a person stepping into leadership?
Well, there's a principle and a piercing, evocative, vulnerable question I like to ask myself, which dials me into this. And I'm inviting everyone who's listening to ask this of themselves, to really listen. Very simple question, and that is, what must I do myself today to live, to love, and to die completely without regret?
Mm-hmm.
I allow myself to let that question land in myself daily. And it helps me navigate and get in touch with my highest core values. And then I act on it. This is the key. So if I were to ask you that, my friend, what must you do this week, to live, to love, so that you could die completely without regret? Kindly share with me, what would one of those things be for you?
I can share you lots. I think the number one thing that pops into my head is showing up even more authentic through my YouTube and video channels, and telling greater truths. Actually, no, there's something that's even more important, and this is beautiful, and this came through me last night, is I had been sitting in a lot of judgment, and judgment of things I thought I wasn't judging. For example, I have a lot of people in my past who haven't stepped up and stepped out and created businesses and done the things, and I don't believe they're living to their full potential. And so last night I'm doing some self-work on myself, and I'm going, am I judging them? Am I judging people that don't live their full potential? And my excuse was, no, I'm not judging. I'm polarizing. I'm pulling them to me. But then I looked into it deeply and I said, okay, well, what is judgment? Judgment is not thinking that that's okay. Judgment is looking, and I go, I wouldn't be okay having a friend or an acquaintance or anybody who didn't step out and be moving towards their greater self. And so the one thing that's come through me today and from last night that I'm sitting in this huge puddle of is, how do I, who is a person who has created an identity around helping as many people to live freedom, make it completely okay for people to choose not to have freedom and to love them anyway? And yes, this is what I'm sitting in. So what a great question.
What you bring up, my friend, is what I would call my work antagonistic polarities,
mm-hmm.
or antagonistic dualities. So should I care for others and evoke them and provoke them into living their freedom? Or should I release and surrender and know that that's their own path and let it unfold and just watch placidly as beings live their life?
Right.
This is a fundamental polarity that many of us in the helping world have, and who are naturally drawn to serve and make a difference. Mm-hmm. So what I do with that is there's a particular way that I dissolve the boundaries between these two. And perhaps even today we may have an opportunity to do this or some other time, but there's a method that I utilize on myself to bring me to a state that transcends that antagonistic duality.
Mm-hmm.
And when that happens, there's a natural freedom, a profound freedom to choose, but it's not based on emotional investment. It's not based on, should I or shouldn't I? It just comes from soul knowing. So right. I feel where we're at right now. If I were to answer that question, what must I do?
Yeah.
For me, in this moment, I like you, I get to serve many people, but I'm really feeling now over the next couple of weeks, I need to give some deep investment to my teens. I have a daughter and a son, because I'm really feeling their soul calling for some dad energy to help them get their businesses off the ground.
Oh, what
So
businesses do they have?
well, my daughter's into fashion design, and my
Oh,
son is a culinary chef
wow.
and a mixed martial art expert. So,
Very nice.
so when you ask me, what can we do? I think this is what we do. We ask that question and we live it. That makes us a leader, and we start leading our own selves.
Mm.
And that brings the units of energy and choice back to us and away from the popular emotion.
Mm.
Part of the principles of this path of the warrior sage that I espouse is I look for in myself, where is my units of attention being drawn into?
Mm.
As the warrior sage, we have a limited amount, albeit large, units of attention and presence.
Yes.
Yet these units of attention are ensnared by so many things in media, like this election. It makes you for, against, riles you up. There's so many fronts which are riling us up.
Right.
That capturing of our attention captures our units of power, our units of choice.
Yes.
So one of my practices that I guide the folks I coach is to start releasing those units of captured attention, and don't get involved in the popular emotion, no matter how evocative it is.
Yes.
You can't do anything about the gas prices. I mean, unless you're in an oil company or something like that. But as a person driving a car every day, so why complain about it? Why invest my units? I'm not free. I'm being enslaved in that moment.
Yes.
Freedom for me is to source my own truth.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than be sucked into the popular emotion that's constantly being evoked by media. And what sucks you in is polarizing views. That's the point of it.
Right. And
You're not
people
free until you're free of it.
Yeah, they don't. Most don't understand that each moment that their energy is moved to something else, they're pulling that into their life even more. And I shared this on my video today, where Stephen Covey said it in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. You have your circle of influence, and then a circle of concern. And if you live in the circle of concern, you should only focus on stuff you can actually personally influence. Otherwise, So I hear everything you're saying, and I think that the people listening, I hope that you're really taking notes on this, because I'm probably going to listen to this again. It's very powerful to look at that, because we sometimes just get drawn in. And here's something that's happened. I think there's a lot of talk about I don't turn my TV on, or I don't listen to this, or I don't do that, and then they're posting it on Facebook. And I feel as though there's this social media thing that has just replaced our crappy magazines a lot of the times. And my challenge to the listeners is to really hear this and don't let your attention go.
Well, I'd love to share about that, because,
Yeah.
as a warrior sage, we look for this one particular energetic within ourselves. We check it within ourselves. And that's the energy of self-importance.
Uh-huh.
And self-importance shows up in 2 unique ways. The first one we all know about, the brandishing yourself as a big shot, or the boastfulness and the saying that you're more skillful, you've done more than what you've actually done. We all know about that form of self-importance. I call that loud power.
Okay.
Okay, loud power. Then there's the opposite, and that's the woe is me. This is that loud power. Although you may get adherence, what's the quality of adherence you're going to get? They're going to be people who are like, evoke, yeah, I like what you have to say, yeah. They follow that rallying march, that call by that loud power. But those very same type of people will dismiss you the moment they're not congruent with what you have to say.
Yes.
They'll go against you in one moment like that. So loud power this exaggeration of your self-importance creates a balancing force that happens in your own reality. One of my mentors said to me, he says, it's better to be humble all the time, my martial arts teacher. It's better to be humble all the time than to be humiliated all at once.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's another side to this self-importance which draws our freedom. It sucks our power of freedom. Mm-hmm. And that is the hidden side, which is the opposite, which is self-diminishment. I'm just a servant of God. I am nothing. I don't want to be like those grandiose jerks. I don't want to be like those political. I just want to be simple unto myself. How weird can I serve? Oh, lowly am I. Even
yes.
And sometimes that comes across in an exaggeration of piousness, an exaggeration of humility. And that is the dark side, which is unseen, which also saps our true freedom.
Yes.
So the aggrandizement of self or the diminishment of self is what sucks our total freedom. It kills it. The warrior sage stays in this place where they know who they are, they value who they are. They're free unto themselves. Mm-hmm. And then from that place, you're not going like this, and you're not going like this. You're like this. You're free, you're vulnerable, you're strong, and you're real. Mm. So realness, I feel, is the key, the pathway, the torch for those who are interested in real, total freedom. Anything, all the other stuff is just bullshit. It always creates a backfiring effect, which catches up with you, always. I'm telling you from my own experience.
And it's good. And I think that, a wise man learns from other people's mistakes and other people's experience. And it's huge. A saying that I love, and I think it really encapsulates what you're saying, is if you don't go within, you go without. And if you just stay without, you're going to go without. And there's so much of this external freedom that we seek, but it literally starts in here, as you've shared. So I couldn't agree more. I feel like I've said that like 10 times with everything that you're saying. I feel we need to have a second episode because we are starting to get ourselves to the end of our time. So I'm going to schedule that up for us so that we can continue this.
You know what I would love to invite everyone is to go through an experience we can do together where everyone can experience total freedom in consciousness within 10 minutes. Next time we do that, we'll do that. I think we'll have fun with that, all right?
Right on, man. Right on. I think so. So what I would love is I would love to finish up today in this episode with any final comments or final pieces that your heart feels you need to share with the audience today. And also just let us know where they can find more information from you.
Absolutely. Well, because your whole topic is total freedom, I'd love to share the essence of that for me.
Okay.
And what it is for me is there's the capturing and creating of freedom. But if we're doing it from a place of we're not already free, unfortunately, we create a paradoxical backfiring effect.
Right.
So the way to create real total freedom is to see, where am I already free now? I'm free to sit with you and have this wonderful discussion. I'm free after this to go meet my wife, kiss her, and enjoy a meal. When we look at where are we already free, how am I already free? As one of my other mentors said, when you want what you have, you'll have what you want. So my invitation and challenge is for us to look at where are we already free, live that, and don't be so egoically seduced by gaining more freedom. Paradoxically, we'll gain more freedom by enjoying, acknowledging, and embracing the freedom we got right now in this moment.
Wow. I love it. I just need to type that down. That is such a good quote. When you have what you want, when you want what you have what you want. That is so simply put some things that I've been trying to explain to people. And that's beautiful. So thank you so much. So you've got websites and lots of places that people can go and learn more from you as well.
My main website is warriorsage.com, and we have a community there, and I have events, live events, retreats, and I also do online trainings. So those of you who are inspired by this or drawn, you can get on our community list there and be invited to those.
I love it. And I would, just from this, I'm going to go check it out and have a look as well. I think you've got something special, and I really look forward to number 2, where we'll do some live, a live 10-minute getting centered and getting into consciousness and getting into flow. I think it's going to be really good. So thank you so much for your time. It's been just a pleasure to be here.
You're welcome. I really love who you are and your vibe and the authenticity that comes off you. And everyone who's listening today, blessings to you guys. And go ahead and create more total freedom. It's awesome.
Thank you so much. So have an amazing day. And everyone out there listening, live with total freedom. Free your mind, free your time, free your life, so you can do what matters most. Have an amazing day. Tune in next time to Total Freedom Podcast. My name is Christopher Duncan, and today we talked to Satyan Raja, and what a pleasure it was. Tune in for the next episode where I get him back and we go through some more things. Bye for now.
This has been the Total Freedom Podcast. Learn more at ChristopherMDuncan.com. Use the hashtag #TotalFreedomTV, and Chris will answer your questions. What are you doing to create freedom today?